Welcome back, Sunday Society, to our third episode of Spooky Season.
Yeah.
We are excited. Hannah's brought you a story. I've brought you a story. This week, we are bringing you a joint story. And buckle up, babies, because it's a doozy.
Oh, it's wild.
It's quite aggressive. Obviously, we're going to talk about...
Content
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, we're talking about murder.
Sexual assault.
All kinds of very horrific things. So
Well,
just listen with care.
Yeah.
And if you don't like these types of stories, we'll see you next week with a fun story.
Yeah.
History.
A fun, spooky story.
Yeah, just all the fun stuff from whatever. Okay. Well, without further ado, here we go. Grab your coffee, get spooky, and let's take back Sunday.
Okay, so today we have a story for you that is, like Bianca said, a combined story. It is about Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris, and it kind of goes and talks about each of their lives and how each of them kind of went down the wrong path, and then where they meet and how then the path gets darker and more windy and more disgusting. And unfortunately, a lot of victims in this story. So are you ready to start with
I'm
Lawrence?
not, but yes, let's do this because I'm going to have nightmares. But let's do it.
Oh, Larry.
Oh, Larry. Lawrence Bittaker was born on September 27th, 1940 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. From the very beginning, his story was marked by rejection.
Of course.
His biological parents never wanted children, so soon after he was born, they gave him up, placed in an orphanage, and was adopted as an infant. So he probably didn't remember that time, but as you and I have learned, like with our history with Foster Adopt Connect, even infants can carry that deep emotional imprint of that kind of early loss and neglect. It shapes the way you see the world before you even have words for it. So, red flag number one, was not wanted. His adoptive father worked in aviation, which meant that the family moved around often. Constantly being uprooted made it nearly impossible for young Lawrence to form lasting friendships or any real stability. Red flag number two. But here's where it gets interesting. In graduate school, I actually studied a theory about how certain genetics or genetic traits, when paired with an adverse childhood, can dramatically increase the risk of developing antisocial or even psychopathic behaviors. I have that research in this room somewhere. It's crazy. There's like an allele. I think I have talked about it on the podcast before. Looking at Bittaker's early life through that lens, it is almost textbook that he would kind of develop if he had this allele, you know.
Yeah.
He experienced rejection after birth, uncertain nurturing as an infant, and instability all throughout his childhood. His foundation just was not there. Despite his unstable upbringing, Bittaker wasn't unintelligent. In fact, later testing showed he had an IQ of around 138, which is well above average. I think 100 is considered like average. Yeah, I think so. Fact check me if I'm wrong. Whoopsies. Anyway, so we're not talking about someone who didn't understand right from wrong. We're talking about someone who would outthink most people in the room. And sometimes that made him even more dangerous, unfortunately. By the age of 12, he was already getting into trouble. His first arrest was for shoplifting. And then over the next couple years, I think few years, maybe 4, the pattern continued. By 17, he dropped out of high school and was sent to the California Youth Authority for auto theft, a hit and run, and evading arrest.
Oh, dang.
We love it.
Shoplifting to that very quickly.
Yeah, just within 4 years' time. We see the escalation. We see the flags mounting, people. But this was he was 12, so 52 and then 57. I mean, people don't know about all that stuff in 1957. Like, they don't know what the signs are of severe criminal behavior. But so when he got out of the California Youth Authority, he discovered, this is fun, that his adoptive family had cut ties with him. They had completely cut him off and they moved out of state and wanted nothing more to do with him.
Wow. They just
They bounced. Yeah. He never saw them again. So 17 years old, criminal delinquent, abandoned at birth, now abandoned as a 17-year-old. So, but I will say, like, his IQ and his behavior put together remind me of a student that I've had that I have talked about on this podcast before, who had bright blue eyes, but they were black. Like, when you talk to him, it was, there was nothing there. There was no soul. Ugh, I get the bad shivers thinking about it, especially when he said my address out loud in class one day. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
What? What are you talking about? Okay, back to our story. Later.
Full body chills.
Yeah, it shook me. It did. And now I kind of want to go on CaseNet and see if he has any charges. I'm a terrible person. Yeah, shoot. Anyway, so later on, Bittaker would blame these early crimes on what he called his parents' lack of compassion. But to me, it just seems like maybe it was a desperate attempt for attention that went completely unanswered.
Yeah.
With whatever the motivation, though, this was the start of a long, dark pattern that would only get worse from here. Not that I did this like I'm an Italian. Mamma mia. After being released on parole from the California Youth Authority, it didn't take long for Bittaker to find himself back behind bars. Within just a few days, he was caught driving a stolen car across state lines. He was in this youth authority, juvie, basically, for the same thing. Gets out 2 days later.
Doing the same thing.
Back
Doing
in
what he knows.
Yeah, all he knows. It's survival at this point, because he's probably got no job. He's got no family.
That's all he knows.
No, I mean.
But doing, what
it's
he
his
knows.
life, yeah. So that landed him an 18-month sentence, which he started at the Oklahoma State Reformatory before being transferred to the Federal Medical Center in Springfield, Missouri. Yay. The same one that often handled inmates with psychological evaluations.
I know where that is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Like some of the higher mental people
needs
that are psychological go there.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence Bittaker was there in
okay.
the late 50s, 58, 59. He got out in 1960. So that's what, 2 years after he got out of the California juvie. He's out of Missouri, which bummer for you, boy. There's nothing in Missouri. So he got out in 1960, but his freedom didn't last long. Within months, he was arrested again, this time in Los Angeles for robbery. So now he's made his way back to California. By May of the next year, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison. 15. People were done. California was like, shut it down. Yeah. We're done with this. So while inside, a psychiatrist labeled him, quote, highly manipulative, noting that Bittaker carried a lot of anger just beneath the surface, which that tracks. He was abandoned. He moved around, had no friends probably, and then was abandoned again. I bet he was very angry. Okay. After serving only 2 years, he was paroled in 1963. Got 15 years, served 2 of them. 2 of them. Lifelong criminal. Anyway. But, shocker, by late 1964, the next year, he was back in prison for violating that parole. During later evaluations, 2 psychiatrists agreed. Bittaker was a borderline psychopath. Someone who could charm and deceive, but who didn't grasp the real weight of his actions. So, I don't know if they just don't understand the consequences, or if they understand them and they just don't care. There's no emotion attached to it. They're like, yeah, this is bad, but whatever. It doesn't hurt me. It's not bad for me.
Yeah.
So, when asked about his crimes, he said they made him feel important. He, again, blamed his choices on his upbringing, his environment, anything but himself. Exactly. Doctors prescribed him antipsychotic medication, and once again, he was released. Barely a month after his 1967 parole, Bittaker was arrested again, this time for theft and fleeing the scene of an accident. He served a few years and got out in 1970. Then in early 1971, he was back in custody for burglary, earning yet another sentence that could range anywhere from 6 months to 15 years. By 1967...
That is a wide range.
I know.
6 months to 15 years. That is wild.
So I think that they take into account your prior record, the state that you're in, how old, I don't think how old you are, but they talked about this on the prosecutor's
I just feel like
podcast.
that's a very
It's a
wide.
huge range. Yeah.
Yeah. So how much did he get? Obviously not that much. I know when they meet.
Yeah. No, he's almost done. So this was 71. By 74, so he was in there for 3 years. He was free once more, but that freedom, as you guessed it, would be short-lived yet again. By this point, Bittaker had spent more of his life behind bars than outside of them. Every release just reinforced his belief that the world owed him something, and every arrest confirmed that he'd never really belong in it. The world, probably.
For someone who was really smart, he got caught all the time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, criminals are stupid. Okay, he wasn't learning lessons in prison. He was sharpening his bitterness. That year, so where are we? 1974? Is this where we are? Yeah. That year, Bittaker was arrested for assault with intent to commit murder. So we just keep getting worse and worse. Like, I think that's important to point out. Like, they start as just shoplifting, and now we're up to like
trying to hurt somebody.
Attempted murder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this was after he would stabbed a young grocery store employee.
Like
stabbed
in the
somebody.
Store?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The man had caught him stealing a steak and followed him out to the parking lot to confront him. And that's why they tell you when you work at places like Walmart, if you see somebody stealing, you let them go. You don't try to intervene. You call the cops because this crazy stuff happens. You just don't know. Yeah, like, and you don't know if they're high, like on not weed, because weed, they're like, whatever, man, like it's fine. But like PCP, they're clawing your face off.
Yeah.
So that's why they tell you not to pursue. So when asked if he'd just forgotten to pay, Bittaker pulled out a knife and plunged it into the employee's chest, just missing its heart. Like, this wasn't a, get away from me. This is a, I want you to die.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, 2 other workers tackled him before he could get away. Love that. Yeah, love that. Miraculously, the victim, Gary Louie, survived. Bittaker was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon and sent to California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo. And this time, prison wouldn't just harden him. It would connect him with someone just as broken. Someone who would understand his fantasies and help him act on them. It was here at the California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo that Bittaker met Roy Norris. It's almost eerie when you think about it, how 2 people with such violent tendencies can find each other in a place that's designed to rehabilitate you, but that's exactly what happens next.
So, before we can talk about the meeting, we have to talk about Roy Norris and his upbringing.
Mm-hmm. What got us here?
What got us here? So, Roy Norris was born in Greenlee, Colorado on February 5th, 1948. He was conceived out of wedlock, and his parents married to avoid the social stigma of that time of, being...
conceived out of wedlock. Yeah.
His father worked in a scrapyard, and his mother was a homemaker who struggled with drug addiction.
In the 40s. I wonder what kind of drugs those were.
Well, he was born in 48, so...
Like the 50s. So what would that have been? Cocaine? Probably. It was in soda.
I don't know.
I think that's what they put in Coca-Cola.
She was just like, give me all the Coke.
Give me it.
Roy, his early life was defined by hardship and instability. He often spoke of being wrongfully accused of things as a child while living with his biological parents, and described years of neglect in foster care.
Whoa, how'd he end up in foster care?
So
I feel like you're going to tell us.
I think the family dynamics there was very good. He had behaviors. There was some neglect.
So another wonderful upbringing.
Yes.
Cool.
Many of the homes he stayed in denied him even basic necessities like food and clothing. So we're talking about foster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gosh darn it.
Among his most haunting memories was the time he spent with a Hispanic foster family where he claimed that he had been sexually abused. Norris would later say that the prejudice he carried into adulthood was born from the pain and neglect he endured in that home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
By 16, Norris was back living with his birth parents, but family life was far from stable. During a visit to a young female relative's house, he made inappropriate sexual comments towards her. She immediately demanded that he leave and told his father what had happened. Furious, his father threatened to beat him.
Oh.
Panicked and ashamed, Norris stole his father's car and fled into the Rocky Mountains. There, in a desperate act, he attempted suicide by injecting air into his arm.
Oh my gosh.
Authorities later... I'm so sorry to laugh. I will explain why I giggle.
Okay, I was like,
Authorities later found him, labeled him a runaway, and sent him back home. The reason that I laugh is because he didn't like go for a vein. He just put it in his arm.
Yeah. Trying probably for a vein.
If Bittaker wanted to do that, he would have successfully done that because he was smart. My guy,
Not very much. Yeah. Oh,
it's
man.
not funny.
No.
When Norris returned, he was not met with compassion, but rejection.
Shocker.
His parents told him bluntly that he and his younger sister were unwanted. They planned a divorce as soon as both children reached adolescence. They were just...
Dang. That's ruthless.
A year later, at just 17, Norris dropped out of school and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. He was stationed in San Diego in 1965 and deployed to Vietnam 4 years later.
Oh my gosh.
Though his service lasted only 4 months and he never saw active combat, the experience marked another brief and turbulent chapter in a life already shaped by trauma.
Yeah.
He received an honorable discharge after completing his tour of duty.
Interesting. So he was only over there for 4 months in Vietnam and didn't see any kind of battle. I wonder what he did.
Well, he was in the Navy, so maybe he was on a ship.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Though Roy Norris's military record listed as an honorable discharge, I say it like that, like it's an honorable discharge, the circumstances surrounding his exit from the Navy were anything but ordinary.
Oh, gosh.
During his time in service, his superiors noted troubling behavior and emotional instability that made him difficult to manage. He had been stationed in San Diego and briefly deployed to Vietnam, but never saw active combat, we've talked about. Behind the uniform, the same patterns that had followed Norris throughout his youth, impulsivity, aggression, and deep-seated psychological unrest began to surface once again. While the official paperwork framed his release as routine, it was widely believed that his growing instability and inappropriate behavior made him unfit to continue his duty.
Yeah.
So by the time he left the Navy, Norris was drifting, a young man with no direction, burdened by trauma and on a path that would soon take a very dark turn. Norris entered a cycle of arrests and incarceration throughout the late 1960s and 1970s. He was first arrested for rape and attempting to commit rape in November of 1969.
Dang, that's far from shoplifting where my guy started. Holy cow.
When Norris was released on bail in 1970, he attempted to rape another woman and was rearrested. So the pattern of in and out of jail. When Norris was released again on bail in May 1970, he attempted to rape another woman and was sentenced to 5 years at a state hospital. He was released from that state hospital after doctors declared that he wasn't a danger to society anymore.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me. I hope that they are held accountable.
No, I'm not kidding.
I know.
I'm like nodding and I'm like, wait, no, I'm not.
I hope that those doctors are held accountable.
They probably weren't.
They weren't, but they should be, you know? Oh, okay. Anyway.
It's crazy. In 1976, Norris offered a woman a ride on his motorcycle, and after she refused, because she probably thought he was a weirdo too, he chased and dragged her into a bush and raped her.
Oh my God.
And that is why he ends up meeting Mr. Bittaker. Now, I want to talk about something because we just talked about like attempted murder and rape and all of these things. I think that people were more apt to do that because like everywhere now there's like cameras and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then there was, unless somebody was witnessing you, they weren't gonna,
you weren't getting caught.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just thought about that when I was talking about it. I'm like, he just kept doing it.
Yeah. Because
but again, getting caught over and over and over again because criminals are stupid.
Yep. Moron. Freaking moron.
Okay. So in 1977, Norris was again incarcerated. So because in 1976, he was arrested and convicted for the rape of a female student at a community college in California. He had been on parole at the time of the attack,
Oh my gosh.
following earlier offenses that also involved assaults on women. Because of the seriousness of the crime and the fact that he was also a repeat offender,
Mhm.
the state was like, doop doop, Norris, we're sending you to California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo, a medium security prison.
All right, I want to take a pause because I don't know if you at home are paying attention, but Dora, I'm going to look at my backpack. What do these two men have in common? They repeatedly committed the exact same crime for decades.
That shouldn't even be a phrase, by the way, but
no.
I won't get on that soapbox today, but that career criminal should not be a term.
Because shut it down.
Yep.
How many chances did these guys
That'll
need?
do.
That you do not have to worry about me. You do not have to worry about me. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yes, and they just keep it's
the same thing. They can't help it.
They're allowing these people to reoffend.
They're enabling it because they're like, okay,
5 years. Oh, you're not changing.
No, after the first time, of raping a woman, you're not going to change. I promise you that.
I do not.
All offense actually intended.
All offense. They are not able to be rehabilitated.
Yeah, I don't think so.
During this period, he met Lawrence Bittaker. The two men became friends while in prison and discussed plans they would pursue once released. Disgusting.
Because they knew they were going to get out.
Yes.
Because they freaking knew.
They're like, okay, when we convince them that we're rehabilitated.
Because Lawrence is a manipulator.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to need to just cool it.
In 1978, both men were free. And in 1979, they carried out a series of crimes together.
Wow. They became known as the Toolbox Killers, a nickname given because of the everyday items they used during their crimes. Between June and November of 1979, June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months. 6 months, 5 teenage girls lost their lives.
And was almost 6.
Yeah, an attempted murder. Lucinda Lynn Schaefer, Andrea Joy Hall, Jacqueline Doris Gilliam, Jacqueline Leah Lamp, and Shirley Lynette Ledford. Those were the 5 teenage girls who lost their lives because the system failed them, and these men are evil. Their partnership ended when Norris confided details of their activities to a friend, Joseph Jackson, about the murders. Because here's the thing, and I heard this on an episode today, people that commit crimes like this don't keep it to themselves. They never do.
Especially when you're not as smart as Bittaker.
Yep.
So, and I looked this up because I was like, okay, it just, in the Netflix, no, it wasn't Netflix. What was it that we watched it on?
Did I watch it with you?
Are you serious right now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
About this documentary?
Oh, I did not pay attention. Okay, this thing. I was like, I thought you were talking about something else.
Well, anyway, on a documentary about the Toolbox Killers, it states that that he told a friend, but I was like, I need to figure out who this friend was, how he knew him, like how good of a friend are we talking? Did he just blab to just some random like kind of friend? Because like the only person, if I'm killing somebody, the only person I am telling is you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like, please don't ever tell me this again. I can claim ignorance only one time.
Okay.
Well, so Jackson was an acquaintance from work. A man Norris seemed
acquaintance.
Yeah, acquaintance.
Not a friend.
Yeah, just someone he knew.
Glad that I looked it up.
So a man Norris seemed to trust enough to share disturbing details about what he and Lawrence Bittaker had done.
But like, not a friend.
Yeah,
like
not a bestie.
He honestly didn't have friends.
That's what I was about to say. Just like Lawrence, he probably just didn't have friends. Who wants to be friends with a man that's out here women all over freaking California? At first, Jackson thought Norris might be exaggerating to try to shock him. But as Norris continued to talk, he revealed details that were too specific, mentioning the victims by name, describing their abductions, and even claiming that he and Bittaker had kept physical evidence. Yeah. Deeply unsettled, Joseph contacted his attorney. Smart.
Not the police.
Not even the cops. He's like, yo, am I implicated in this now because I know this stuff? Who in turn went to law enforcement. This tip became the break that investigators needed. Based on Jackson's statement, police began building a case that would ultimately lead to the arrest of both men on November 30th, 1979.
So let's just think about that. If Norris wouldn't have said something,
They
nobody would have
probably
never known.
no. Well,
Ever.
think about it, because at this point in time, DNA evidence is just not a thing.
DNA is not a thing.
Yeah. And
if there's no eyewitnesses, there's, we talked no videos, there's no surveillance.
Yeah.
We're not doing that at this point in the 70s.
Truly, to be a detective in the 70s, you had to be a special kind of smart, because you were working with nothing. You were working with bare bones. So, as part of a plea deal, Norris avoided the death penalty by testifying against Bittaker, which makes sense. In my opinion, it sounds like Bittaker is the ringleader. He is the alpha in this partnership. And Norris is like, please don't kill me. I'm just a...
See, and I'm the opposite. If I did something that put me in prison, give me the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't know how long I would last. I would go...
Just let me die,
crazy.
please.
Yeah. Well, Bittaker was convicted in 1981 on 26 counts, including murder and kidnapping, and was sentenced to death. However, sentenced in 1981, he died of natural causes in 2019. Sat on death row for 38 years for killing 5 girls at San Quentin State Prison. What are you doing over there? This man, 2019, he was alive and he got to draw breath for 38 years, and those girls never did. He got to see age 79, and those girls never did. Roy took the deal, but he also died of natural causes on February 24th of 2020.
So literally
at 72.
2 months after Homeboy.
That's crazy.
That's
at a California medical facility. Yeah. And this was like right around the time COVID started. So I don't wonder if early COVID got him.
I don't know.
I hope so. I hope they suffered.
It was, yeah. So I am very, what's the word? I am very merciful and gracious when it comes to certain crimes and certain criminals and certain behavior, and definitely believe, that we should do the right thing and try to get people back on the right track, except when it comes to sexual assault and murders and things, especially the more heinous crimes, I guess I should say.
Anything involving children.
Anything involving children, anything involving sex crimes. I do not believe that is a rehabilitable.
No, we're keeping it. It's a word. Rehabilitable.
Girl, I do not know. Is it really?
I have no idea, but I like it.
I do not believe it's rehabilitable.
I don't either.
And
I think Olivia Benson would agree.
Yeah. And I truly feel that people like that shouldn't even, our tax dollars shouldn't even help pay for them.
Yeah. It's not going to get better. So why don't you, because we here at Taking Back Sunday, we like to honor the victims and talk about them as people and not just who they are in this crime. So why don't you give us kind of a glimpse into our poor first victim?
Okay, so Lucinda, she went by Cindy Schaefer. She was 16, and I am going to talk about what happened to her. What the court documents state, but before I get there, let's talk about the person that she was.
Yeah.
She was known for her gentle spirit and unwavering kindness. Friends described her as mature for her age, thoughtful, responsible, and grounded in her faith. She volunteered at church events and loved to help others. Cindy's family said she had a quiet strength about her, someone who always saw the best in people. So that's a little bit about her.
Yeah, so sad.
According to court documents, on June 24th, 1979, Bittaker was driving the van when Norris, as passenger on the Pacific Coast Highway in Redondo Beach, they saw Lucinda, or Cindy, walking along the highway. She turned on a residential street. Bittaker drove by and offered her a ride, but she refused.
Smart girl.
Bittaker then parked the van a short distance down the street. Norris got out and pretended to be repairing it. When Schaefer walked by, he grabbed her and dragged her into the van while Bittaker drove away. Norris bound and gagged her. When they arrived at the fire road in the mountains, Norris sexually assaulted Cindy while Bittaker stood lookout.
Oh my goodness.
Bittaker then also sexually assaulted her. And then Norris sexually assaulted her a second time. So she was sexually assaulted 3 times. She asked Norris if the men intended to kill her and asked for time to pray before they did. Norris, however, assured her that she would not be killed. Bittaker then returned to the van and Norris stood watch outside. After about 45 minutes, Bittaker emerged and the 2 men argued whether to kill her or not.
Oh my gosh. This poor girl.
Norris said he had told Cindy that she would not be killed, but Bittaker insisted on killing her so that she could not identify them. Bittaker said that kidnapping with bodily harm carried a sentence of life imprisonment without possibility of parole. Norris was unwilling to risk such a sentence and finally agreed to the killing. Bittaker held...
That just goes back to show you the manipulation that Bittaker had, like the skill that he could manipulate people to get exactly what he wanted. He didn't care that she could identify them. He wanted to have control, and that's exactly what that was about.
I do not believe that Norris would have ever killed without Bittaker.
No, I don't think.
I think
just from this already.
Sexual crimes.
Yeah, because that's what he did.
Yeah.
He never that was as far as he had ever gone. Bittaker had stabbed somebody in the heart and literally tried to kill them. Okay, anyway, moving on.
Bittaker held Cindy while Norris tried to strangle her, but when he changed his grip, Cindy and Bittaker fell over backwards. Bittaker dropped his cigarette, which burnt a hole in his shirt and scarred his chest. Bittaker then attempted to strangle Cindy, but was unable to squeeze tightly enough. He took...
God, I hate him. I hate him so much. I'm so full of rage. So angry. Oh, okay.
He took a clothes hanger and looped it around her neck.
Jesus.
Norris could not get the hanger tight enough, but Bittaker used pliers to tighten it and kill Cindy. Then they threw the body into the bushes. So they lied to her, didn't allow her to pray, raped her at least 3, if not 4 times, because he then says that he was in the van with her again for 45 minutes. Oh my God. And then murdered her, strangled her.
And then just tossed her in the bushes like trash.
She was nothing. Absolutely disgusting. So this was June 24th, 1979.
Yep. All right. So we're going to move into our next victim, Andrea Hall. She was 18, had just graduated from high school, and was looking forward to what came next. She was independent and adventurous, the kind of girl who didn't mind taking the road less traveled. Andrea loved the beach and the open road. Her friends recalled her laugh, easy, genuine, and contagious. She was on the edge of adulthood, eager to see what life had in store. She was abducted while hitchhiking in Redondo Beach on July 8th, 1979. Oof, extra content warning right now.
Yeah.
Bittaker killed her by driving an ice pick into her ears. So the first victim was June 24th. The next victim was July 8th. That's like a week, maybe.
Yeah.
So not much of a cooling off period.
So the first girl was walking. This girl was hitchhiking. I think we should talk about our scenario of why we think that there were so many murders or serial killers, people that excessively were killing, especially women in the 70s.
Yeah.
We already said the no DNA, no cameras, but...
Yeah, the hitchhiking. I mean, and I think that all kinds of people report on that because you are literally getting into a car with a stranger. You have no idea what their intention is.
And you're trusting people.
There was just too much trust. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
The millennials were like, that'll do. That'll do it. You do not have to worry about me. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't wonder if it's because we have seen all of this. Yeah. But anyway, so hitchhiking, I think it was incredibly dangerous and risky. And the people that did it were typically high risk, like communities, low risk victims. So transients, sex workers, addicts, runaways, like people that nobody's looking for. But people are looking for them. People did care. They were people, you know.
Yeah.
So according to court documents, on July 4th, 1979, Independence Day, go America.
And so we talked that it was July 8th. So for 4 days,
yeah, Bittaker and Norris set out to find another victim.
Yeah.
So while driving in Manhattan Beach, they saw Andrea Hall, 18, who was hitchhiking to visit her boyfriend in Wilmington. Before they could offer her a ride, a man in another car picked her up. Bittaker and Norris followed that car all the way to Redondo Beach, where Hall got out and resumed hitchhiking. Bittaker then offered her a ride. After she entered the van, Norris, who had been hiding in the back, attacked her, and after a fight, managed to bind and gag her. They drove into the mountains, passing the place where Cindy was killed. Norris got out and stood guard while Bittaker raped Hall. The men then traded activities. When it was Norris's turn to wait outside again, he thought he saw headlights coming up the fire road. Bittaker took Hall into some bushes by the road while Norris drove the van, searching unsuccessfully for the intruder. So I'm guessing nobody was there. When Norris returned, they drove to a new location. Bittaker took Hall up a small hill, maintaining communication with Norris by walkie-talkie. Upon returning... Okay, these two clowns. Just on... over, I'm up the mountain, over. Dumbasses. Damn.
It's wild.
The walkie-talkies just sent me. I was not ready for that. Morons. Do they not know those can be hacked? Okay, anyway.
Like if you're on the same channel.
Yes, like truckers are like, what the f going on out there? Okay. Upon returning 2 hours later, Bittaker showed Norris 8 photographs that he had taken. One of these photographs, which shows Hall about to perform oral copulation on Bittaker, is in evidence. Norris described the other photos, which showed Hall nude in various poses. Bittaker then drove to another place and said he wanted to rape Hall again, and again, took her to a hill near the road. Norris drove to a store, keeping in communication by radio. When he returned, Bittaker was alone. He told Norris he had taken more pictures. Good for you, buddy. Nobody cares. I'm so mad. He showed Norris 2 pictures in which Hall appeared frightened and told Norris that he took them after telling Hall that he was going to kill her and challenging her to come up with as many reasons as she could why he should not kill her. That is such
disgusting,
an effed up thing, because it's just a mind F. Like he's doing it just to torment her.
He knows what
he knows. There's nothing she could say. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to need some Disney Channel after this.
Yeah.
Again, I say content warning. Bittaker then killed Hall by thrusting an ice pick through her ear into her brain. When she did not die instantly, he turned her over and pushed the pick through the other ear. Oh my gosh. And stepped on it until the handle broke. He then strangled Hall until she died and threw her body over an embankment into some bushes. This is horrific.
So disgusting.
And this was preventable. This didn't have to happen to people. 18 years old.
All right. So our next victim actually is 2. They were best friends. They were besties. It's really sad. Jackie Gillum, 15, was bright, funny, and full of energy. She had a spark that drew people in, a free-spirited teen who loved music and being around friends. She was unfortunately abducted along with her bestie, Leah Lamp, in Hermosa Beach on September 3rd, 1979. She was tortured and killed again with an ice pick. Her partial remains were later found in the mountains. Her best friend, Jacqueline, was 13, and she was...
Their names are Jacqueline?
Jacqueline,
That's fun, and she goes by
Leah.
Leah.
Went by Jackie, and the other one went by Leah.
Oh.
Jacqueline Gillum, the 15-year-old, went by Jackie, and then Jacqueline Leah Lamp went by Leah. She was 13, was younger, but just as full of life. Leah was described as shy at first, but quick to warm up, with a big heart and a kind smile. The two were inseparable, a sister-like bond that made everyone around them smile. They dreamed about what they'd do when they got older, where they'd go, who they'd become, the kind of hopes every young teen holds. Leah was killed by repeated blows to the head with a sledgehammer.
Oh my
Her
God.
partial remains were also found.
It's like the Delphi girls.
Yeah.
Abby and Libby.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
I feel like I have like a hair splinter or something in my leg. It's
Oh.
been bothering me. According to court documents, on September 2nd, so we went from July 8th to September 2nd, 1979.
That's a long time. Like, considering the last one was like a week,
Yeah.
and now this one's like, maybe that's why they grabbed two.
Yeah,
That it had been so long.
Or it was just opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
On September 2nd, 1979, Jackie and Leah were hitchhiking in Redondo Beach. Again, people trusted way too much in the 70s.
Yeah.
Bittaker and Norris picked them up in Bittaker's van. After the girls entered the van, Norris hit Lamp with a sap, a plastic bag filled with lead weights.
Oh my gosh.
Then subdued and tied Jackie. Leah recovered her consciousness and attempted to escape, but Bittaker caught her and forced her back into the van. Bittaker then drove into the mountains again, driving beyond the site of the other two murders.
So going farther out into the woods.
Neither Bittaker nor Norris were sexually interested in Leah. Bittaker set out to rape Jackie. Learning that she was a virgin, he set up a tape recorder to record her cries during the rape. After Norris also raped Jackie, they retied the girls and all remained in the van overnight. The next morning, this is so hard to read. The next morning, Bittaker took Leah up a hill, took some photographs, and left her there. Upon returning, he arranged for Norris to take a series of photographs of him with Jackie, beginning with them clothed, then nude, then during intercourse and oral. I must have defended. Bittaker brought Leah back to the van and they drove into town for food and supplies.
With the girls in the van?
Yeah, they're brave.
Stupid.
It's stupid too, but yeah.
Yeah.
They were getting ballsy. Maybe that's the word, not brave.
Yeah, brazen.
Upon their return, Bittaker took additional nude photos of Jackie. At this point, Bittaker tortured Jackie. Norris did not mention torture. Norris suggested that they kill Jackie quickly because she had been so helpful. But Bittaker replied that they only die once anyway. Bittaker then took Jackie out of the van and killed her. First thrusting an ice pick through her ear into her brain, then choking her. Bittaker returned to the van, woke up Leah, who had been forced to take tranquilizers to keep her quiet. That's probably what they did when they went into town, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And as she stepped out of the van, he struck her with a sledgehammer.
Oh my God.
Bittaker choked Leah while Norris struck her with the hammer until she was dead. The men threw both bodies over an embankment.
So the next incident, the next victim is an attempted victim. So it is a victim, attempted abduction. According to court documents, on September 27th, so we were at the beginning of the month, now we're at the end of the month, so we're shortening that cooling off period again. Bittaker and Norris attempted to abduct an unidentified woman, but she dodged behind the van and escaped. On September 30th, they saw Jan Malin park her car in an apartment garage and return to the garage entrance to close the garage door. Bittaker approached, sprayed her with mace, and attempted to drag her into the van. Malin screamed and people started to come out of their houses nearby. Norris then drove away without Bittaker, who fled on foot. Deuces! He was like, you on your own. You do not have to worry about me. Malin's testimony corresponded to Norris's account.
Gosh.
So it sounds like there were two attempts. One was unknown, the unidentified woman, and then Jan. Shirley Lynette Ledford was the youngest of four siblings and deeply loved by her family. She worked part-time at a local restaurant and was known for her warm, cheerful personality. Her coworkers said she brought light to every shift, always cracking jokes and helping others. Shirley had a natural kindness about her, and people were drawn to her positive energy. She was the final victim, abducted on Halloween night, 1979. She was extensively tortured before being strangled with a coat hanger. The killers left her body on a front lawn in Sunland, where it was discovered the next day. An audio recording of her torture was made and later played during Bittaker's trial. I could not imagine being that girl's mom
Mm,
in the courtroom listening to
I
that.
know.
I wonder if they give family the option to leave for things like that.
I don't.
I don't know if I would want to, or if I would, or if I wouldn't. Like, would I want to be in there and make him look at me while they play that and like face me? Or would I not want to give him the satisfaction of seeing me
Yeah, I don't
have a visceral reaction to that?
know.
Full body coldness right now. According to court documents, late in the evening on October 31st, 1979, Bittaker and Norris picked up Shirley Ledford, who was hitchhiking home from her job. Again, hitchhiking is just the theme here
Mm-hmm.
today. Bittaker drove to a secluded area, stopped, and drew a knife. Norris then moved into the driver's seat. Bittaker turned on his tape recorder. As Norris drove, he could hear screams coming from the back of the van. After 1 to 2 hours, Bittaker turned off the recorder and changed places with Norris. Norris compelled Ledford to orally satisfy him, then turned on the recorder and began hitting her on the elbow with a hammer.
Ugh.
When Norris finished torturing Shirley, Bittaker told him to kill her. Norris strangled the victim with a coat hanger. Bittaker suggested dumping the body in someone's front yard so they could see the reaction in the newspaper. They put her body in a bed of ivy in a suburban neighborhood where it was discovered by an early morning jogger.
Mm.
It sounds like Norris is getting more into
Yeah.
it the longer they
It's
do it.
easier for him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's participating more. This is devastating. Okay.
So a little bit more on the court documents. So the bodies of Lucinda and Andrea were never found.
Oh my
Those families
gosh.
were never able to put any of their remains at rest,
And
which
they
is so
only
sad.
know they only know what happened because they testified. Okay.
Friends and family testified that they had never seen them after that date when Norris said they were killed. The prosecutor presented considerable evidence to show that Lucinda and Andrea were unlikely to disappear voluntarily, and the defense did not dispute that both were dead.
I'm glad that they took that seriously, though, because
Yeah.
we even still to this day have people that are like, oh, they probably just ran away.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. Fortunately, they're not adults.
Yeah.
So there was no saying, well, they're adults. They can do whatever they want.
With Norris's assistance, the police discovered and identified the skulls of Jackie Gillum and Leah Lamp.
Oh my
A
goodness.
portion of the ice pick was lodged in Jackie's skull. Leah's skull showed the effect of the hammer blows. Shirley Ledford's body was discovered shortly after she was killed. The coat hanger was still wrapped around her neck. The body had extensive bruising and tearing on the breast, bruises on the genitals, and bruises on one elbow. One of the photographs that Bittaker had of Andrea and 6 of Jackie were identified and introduced into evidence. The tape recording of the torture of Shirley Ledford was discovered in Bittaker's van. The first portion of the tape contains a male voice identified as Bittaker's, and the screaming from a female voice is, assumed to be Ledford's. At one point, Bittaker demanded that Shirley tell him what he was doing, and she describes the act of a certain type of sexual assault. The second portion of the tape contains Norris's voice urging Shirley to scream, and more screaming by Shirley. And then Shirley's bracelet was discovered in Norris's apartment. When they took the van into evidence, Bittaker's van contained a small sledgehammer, and in his room, police discovered 7 bottles of various acids, which Norris said that Bittaker planned to test on his next victim. And that is that.
I'm glad that they had all of that evidence to prove that they did this, because this is the 70s. It's the late 70s, but it's hard to prove those types of cases, especially when there's no bodies for 2 of them and they still got convicted. I just think that it's great that they had so much evidence, that these men were so egotistical and thought that they couldn't be touched, that they kept all of these things.
And I just want to point out that it took 2 of them to abduct and rape and hurt and torture women because they apparently couldn't have done it by themselves. And that's because they're weak and pathetic. So.
Yeah. And in the words of one of the victims of the Idaho moron, I'm not even going to say his name, she ended her victim impact statement with, "And if my sister would have been awake, she would have kicked your ass."
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel. If these girls would have been given a chance, they would have kicked their asses. And I wish that they could have.
Yeah.
But
so
I am glad that the families got justice, not closure for all of them. Man, this one was hard. This one was tough, dude. Oof.
Tough. Yeah. And I did pick this one because the last victim was abducted on Halloween night, and that's our season. But man, I did not know what I was getting myself into when I started researching this. So
this one was tough. So well, everyone go hug your families. Don't hitchhike.
Yeah,
please.
I know we don't do that anymore.
Some people might, but please don't. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be smart. Be good people. I'm Bianca.
I'm Hannah.
And we are Taking Back Sunday. Ooh.
Yeah, it's rough.
You do not have to worry about me.
Roy Nelson? No.
Norris.
Norris.
Poor Roy Nelson somewhere out there is like, damn it.
Is that the guy that did the boxing thing? Something Nelson, right?
I have no idea.
The boxing club thing, the drug addict box. I think his last name was
I didn't remember.
Anyway,
yeah, okay. I don't know. Anyway. Norris.
Roy Norris. Okay. And
by this point, Bittaker had spent more than I am stuck on stupid. I'm gonna sip my tea.
Also, that has caffeine in it, friend.
Not a lot. Not as much as I was gonna ask for a Monster. And I was like, listen, I am climbing the walls, but I need something to wet my whistle. And water is boring. Boring. It was here at the California Men's Colony in St. Louis. Is it San Luis or San Luis or San Louis? I think it's San Luis. Oh my gosh, I'm froze. I'm glitching. San Luis Obispo. San Luis Obispo. No, it's not Louis. Somebody said it today at work, and I was like, I know that place.
Mine says California. San Quin. Mine's. Oh, wait. No, hold on. I went too far. Hold on.
I think it's San Luis Obispo. San Luis. San Luis. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Yeah, San Quentin is where he died. San Luis. San Luis Obispo. Okay.
Oh!
Oh, Lord.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
During a visit to a young... Yep. Okay. He was stationed in San Diego in 1965 and deployed to Vietnam for 4 years. Or no, I'm sorry. He was stationed... Okay. Sorry. Because of the seriousness of the crime and his repeat offender status, Norris was sent to California's men's colony in St. Luis Obispo, a medium security prison. Is that how you say that? Is that how you said it?
Oh, San Luis Obispo.
Is that what I said?
I have no idea.
Were you not listening?
I was, but I don't remember.
Okay, I'm going to say it again.
It's gone.
San Luis Obispo. Okay, that Obispo.
Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop.
Alabama. That's what it makes me think of.
This damn word. Oh.
Okay. I do not feel like people like this are rehabilitatable.
No, rehabilitable. I think that might be a made-up word, maybe. But
You're
it
not
sounds
able
good.
to be rehabilitated. Let me say it again. What was that?
Rehabilitated. That's because Norris is. But Doonies, you need a friend?
You got a friend in me.
Doo-doo. Bittaker then offered her right eye. I'm done. Dope. He's a dummy. I should just say that dumbass offered her a ride. Okay. I'm glad you restarted it because you were still kind of giggly. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I was trying to stay with it. I just had to get it out.
I know.